Hi, it's John at cNation, and you are tuned into the Kush Journals. Join me and my occasional guests each weekday as we discuss all things cannabis in the great state of Utah. Hey, it's John at cNation, and you are tuned in to the Kush Journals. So I had the great pleasure of chatting with Todd Thompson, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Ignite Cannabis Company. We had first encountered each other at the Canna Newswire Media Showcase in Anaheim a few weeks ago, but the audio wasn't terrific. There was a large crowd there, and the audio was just at a constant. So we were able to circle back around and do a phone interview with Todd. We were up in Oakland, but we were happy to make arrangements to do a phone interview with him. And I think what you're going to discover is here's one of the most enthusiastic and conscientious chief executives running any cannabis company. So without further stalling for time, let's take a listen to this interview. Todd, hey, it's John with cNation. How are you?
I'm fine, John. How are you?
I'm great. Up in Oakland, just hanging out at another cannabis conference. And, you know,
Can you believe how many there are?
Oh my gosh, talk about an industry that's ripe for consolidation. Holy cow.
Yeah, to say nothing of the brands, to say nothing of the retailers, and to say nothing of the trade shows and conferences, damn it.
No, it's really true. Hey, I kid you not, I'm standing here wearing my Ignite Cannabis Company hat.
God bless you.
I got to tell you, we caught up with you a couple of weeks ago in Anaheim, and it was pretty loud in the media showcase there, and
You think so? We just had a couple things going on.
We tried like crazy to just cut that drone out. It was all at the same decibel level and same frequency. We just couldn't get real good audio. So I'm super happy that Matt set this up again for us, because everything that we've learned about your company and discovered before then and since then is really exciting. It's really refreshing to see a company kind of launch like a cannon, in this space. And, I guess I really want to talk about that, because it's clear some companies come into this and say, oh, we'll figure out our brand later. Well, that's a misstep. In my opinion. Talk about your branding and talk about how this obviously, came to be from the inside out, because it's important and it's obvious.
Yes, it is. It is. And, of course, our founder and chairman, Dan Bilzerian, it's really Ignite is his brainchild, but it's also his passion. And what he has set out to do is create truly the first super premium global cannabis brand that's rooted in the best quality, and that is done with a professional marketing team and using and leveraging his, of course, marketing, social media and Instagram to bring the world, if you will, the whole recreational side, but also the medical side. And so from a branding standpoint, we are related to Dan, but distinct from Dan, in the sense that we have that premium image, we have the quality, we have the high end, we have the edge, okay? Which I think is something you want to have if you want to be an exciting brand in a new and exciting and growing category like this, especially appealing to, the youth and more people as they can use the product legally in every state. But also, what's really important to Dan and to folks like me who joined the company is the incredible power of CBD and the medical marijuana benefits derived from it. It is absolutely amazing to me the number of testimonials of individuals I have heard directly, from depression to anxiety to sleep to pain to PTSD. I mean, you name it. Epilepsy. I heard someone from Parkinson's, and this is like an Uber driver, telling me.
Sure.
It's just like these people don't have an axe to grind.
Right.
They have
Well,
no
Todd,
reason not to be honest.
Todd, I'm going to give you two more testimonials, because Julie grabbed the bubblegum CBD air vape pen from you guys in Anaheim for anxiety. I grabbed the lavender because I have a tough time slowing down in the evenings. 2 more testimonials. Super good job because they work. They calm me down in the evening. They help Julie with her anxiety. For a fact, excellent products.
Excellent products, and and Dan is all in the development and design of those. I mean, he's gone to the fields to pick the strains and to pick the quality, and he's of course tried these all himself. So we've tested them with competitive products, so we stand behind that. But I think what's really powerful is that Dan uniquely, with his 25 million Instagram followers, has a platform to help educate people about the benefits of medical marijuana, because there's so much misinformation about it.
Right.
The people just aren't fully aware, and they don't know if there's side effects, and will I get tested for THC if I use it? And the answer is no, there's no THC. Ours is 100% hemp based,
right,
and there's no THC involved at all. So you get all the medical benefit without the high. And I think the more people become aware of that, I think the more it's going to become a solution for them, because so many of their solutions are suboptimal, right? I mean,
sure,
medical pills, all kinds of side effects, as you know, from nausea and, drowsiness, and of course, too much drinking to take the edge off comes with its own problems.
Sure.
So this is a brave new world. And what's exciting for us is the recreational industry exists. It is becoming more and more legit and more legal. And as that happens, brands are going to come in and they're going to emerge and consolidate in the space. And at the same time, the medical part of marijuana is still in its infancy, and we expect that to burgeon and balloon. So we have that two-pronged strategy, right, of offering both the recreational and the CBD to really bring, this global cannabis brand to life.
Awesome. So on Tuesday evening, we were in Las Vegas for a little soiree you put together for a launch with Bo Vaping.
Yes.
A co-branded product launch. Before I get into that product, I want to say we had the opportunity to speak with Dan just a little bit, and I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know, but it was kind of refreshing to us because, here's Dan Bilzerian from the outside world, the Instagram and all of that image and all of that. And, a guy like me doesn't necessarily know what to expect when I'm going to shove a microphone in his face. He's one of the nicest, most conscientious, most knowledgeable people I've ever spoken to. I asked him a direct question about the health benefits of CBD and his relationship with that. And it was one of the most lucid answers I'd ever heard in my life, and it was a little bit unexpected, obviously.
Yes. He's all in. This is a passion, and that's one of the things that's really come through with the retailers, for example, at the Bo event. I mean, he's not a celebrity that just shows up, speaks for 5 minutes, and then bolts out. And he is all in terms of the development of the products, what goes in, the experience, the usage. Certainly the marketing. This is his passion. As you would expect, when it's your passion, you're a lot more interested in it, you're a lot more knowledgeable about it, and you're a lot more committed to it.
Well, and that was clear, Todd. I mean, that was very clear that this wasn't scripted answering from him. He didn't have a question from us ahead of time. And right, it was really, really an excellent experience for us there. And I want to thank you for inviting us there for that.
Sure. And I think you saw he spent over 2 hours meeting one-on-one with these top C-store retailers.
For sure.
Hearing directly from him their questions, their making sure that they understand his role and his passion for it, and taking photos with them.
Right,
I mean, obviously the response was extremely enthusiastic. So we're pleased with how he is conveying his commitment to this to our partners.
For sure. So let's talk about this collaboration with Bo and the co-branding there. For starters, it's right up at the highest level when we talk about packaging and branding and all of this. It's just a continuation of the top shelf Ignite branding and packaging that we've seen. We had an opportunity there to try the vape products that work very nicely with the with the Bo battery battery, the tropical and the blood orange were both fantastic. What brought your two companies together, and what are you doing today and tomorrow together?
Well, certainly we have the disposable version of the vape that's available and that we sell, directly on our site. But what's also clear is that in the marketplace, especially with nicotine and folks like Juul, there's a very clear, and folks like Bo, there's a very clear market, sizable market of people who are migrating to these batteries and cartridges,
right,
as opposed to all of the negative effects from combustible consumption, right? Be that nicotine or even be that marijuana. So what we wanted to do is tap into the right format with the right partner and reach, with the right quality and branding to bring that CBD product much more available at mass retail than we could do, sort of on our own. Bo is a great partner. They have a great quality solution. We think it's best in class. We think it's better. It's better than Juul in terms of the testing, the delivery. They put technology in it, and at the same time, they've got an incredible reach in the convenience store as well as the independent smokehouse vaping channels.
Right.
And so their incredible coverage allows us to bring the product to all of those retail storefronts in a way, nationally, in a way that we really couldn't do on our own without building that infrastructure, right? So we can sell it online, and anyone who wants to do that, we can make that available to them, and if it's disposable or cartridge. But this is our partnership to get into really the biggest channel of vaping. Those C-store and independent. And so we'll be shipping as soon as December 1 based on the enthusiastic response. We're taking orders as we speak, and we'll be getting into that market, and we're excited about it.
Well, you should be, because there's like a million different products on the marketplace out there that roughly, are in the same shops where you can find the Juul and the Bo products, but none of them have this brand behind them. None of them have, Dan behind them. And I think it's critically important, and to your point, the efficacy of CBD and how many challenges it helps people with, I think you guys have every opportunity to just explode this marketplace because of all of those other things, and probably head and shoulders above any competition out there that probably read your press release with a little bit of dismay and said, geez, we're either out of business or we better step it up. So bravo for that. Honestly, it's a great marketplace, and we're happy to see more people have more access to really great CBD products out there. We've been using the co-product since we got them on Tuesday, and I mean really using them. And one of the things, well, two things, I guess. They really do what they're supposed to do, so they're very efficient in that regard. But we felt like we were using them up, and we'd pull the little pod out of the end and look in there, and hardly any was gone. We thought, wow, this has got to be the best value on the marketplace. We felt like we had smoked them out in no time, and not even close. So I definitely want our listening audience to know that this is an extremely efficient product that has value for your dollars. No question about it.
It absolutely does. And that's one of the things that, if you're willing to, shell out a little bit of cash for the device, you want to make sure that you're going to have a great experience, and B, enough product to use it, because this isn't something you throw away. Right. And so I think that's part and parcel, part of the proposition.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Todd, all of this information is awesome. I can tell you for a fact, we're super excited about your company. I'm not sure I've even taken your hat off my head since I got it a few weeks ago in Anaheim. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but I'm excited about your company. I just am. And I can't remember the last time I was super excited about the launch of a company in this space, but I am about Ignite. So please share with our listening audience what the future holds as far as products, expansion. You bill yourself as a global, international corporation. What's up with all that?
Well, that's a great question, and thanks so much for your support. We're excited as well about the future of Ignite. So just to continue on the CBD front, extending from the most common form of vaping that we're offering already, both online and disposable, but also now with Bo in a cartridge and distributed at retail. You can envision and actually also see in the marketplace that there's a host of different ways that people are using CBD-related products.
Right.
They're for everything from edibles to to drops, and then all the way into from sweet goods, and it's just being put into everything.
Sure.
And then it's also topically. People are using this a lot by adding it to creams and things of this nature. But they're all small companies, and they're all sort of doing their little thing. And what we're all about is delivering the maximum benefit of that CBD quality to customers in ultimately whatever format they choose to do it.
Right.
So we have a pipeline, if you will, an innovation pipeline and roadmap where we'll be offering many more CBD type products over the future. But we're starting, with the biggest and most common, and we'll evolve from there.
Sure.
On the recreational front, it's excited to announce that just today, you may have seen it, is our partnership with ALQ in Canada, which is going to be an incredible opportunity for us, not only in CBD, but recreationally. As you know, recreational marijuana goes legal in Canada, I believe it's October 17th.
Yeah, that's the date.
And as a result of that, it's going to be, countrywide availability in Canada. But the most exciting part of our partnership there is that it opens up not only Canada, it opens up a global export possibility. Correct. For Ignite.
Yeah.
And so we will be able to leverage that footprint and that source as a way to get into other international markets in a way that you cannot do currently in the U.S.
Right.
So we're incredibly excited about the potential of that partnership in terms of delivering on that promise to be that global premium cannabis brand.
Man, that's awesome. So a little closer to home, your THC products are California only, but maybe some Nevada by the end of the year, Arizona looking forward? Sound about right?
Yes, that sounds right. Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Oregon. Obviously the key states.
Sure.
One of the biggest challenges we have found is not demand but supply. Ironically, I've been involved in many Fortune 500 blue chip companies launching new products from Nestle to McCormick to Avery to Bear Paint. And you know your demand, and you stock yourself up, and you launch in the market, and you inundate the market with as much product as you think consumers are willing to purchase.
Right.
We have not, and I don't think anybody really has solved that problem of supply, particularly as it relates to flower and pre-rolls. We're very, very selective in the quality, strain, and type of flower and pre-roll we use. And so getting enough growers consolidated to really meet the ambition and demand of going into all these states and markets has been really our largest challenge. I mean, the demand is outstripping the supply.
Oh, indeed.
So you can imagine that that's a very active effort on our part and with our partners, is to continue to work to get more and more growers and secure the appropriate volume so that we can service all the customers in demand.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Some people listening to this might say, well, why don't you just ship it from your wherever? It's not that simple crossing state lines with these products, is it? You have to set up shop either directly or through licensees in each of these states, correct?
Yes, it is. And so literally you can envision the recreational side of this as like a string of pearls.
Right.
Every state is one you got to go in, and different partners have different licenses, and even different states have different regulations. And so it's a surgical approach to launching these products as opposed to a a shotgun
Right.
approach.
Hey, maybe let me ask you maybe one final question here, and it does have to deal with expansion. And maybe it's a little hypothetical. Maybe you can speak to it. But at some point, surely the federal government will get out of the way of all of this, and interstate commerce will probably open up. When you look at expansion and you think about just clobbering the marketplace, being coast to coast, all of these things around the globe, is it still too early in these expansion discussions to talk about like centralized distribution, that hopefully we can do this out of somewhere in California where we can grow easily and produce easily and just ship it around the country? Or is it still premature to really be looking at those types of models when you talk about expansion?
Well, that's an excellent question, John. I think a few things. The first thing is, I think you can already envision where the end game is going to be for this industry. And it's not dissimilar from many other industries. Eventually, the policy will catch up with the people, and it will be legally, we believe, federally in the U.S. Certainly, even before that happens, but certainly as a result of that happening, you are going to see massive consolidation.
Sure.
And in call it 3 to 5 years, you'll see probably 3 to 5 brands emerging with over 50% of the market,
right,
nationally. And you'll also see consolidation at retail. Many of these dispensaries have, found themselves in business overnight, but they used to be a head shop.
Well, right.
And now suddenly, they don't have the sophistication of inventory and turns and point of sale data and all these other factors that need to be considered. And so you can see some of these dispensaries and growers already buying, bringing people in from Best Buy and other really sophisticated retailers. And so you will see national chains specializing in this, like you see with convenience stores, and so I think you'll see 3 to 5 retailers with 50% of the business, and 3 to 5 brands, and so that's where it's going to go. So the question then is, how do you position yourself to win in that environment and to service that demand? And certainly once federal legalization happens, you can now begin to consolidate and become efficient. And then it's all about, the traditional consumer packaged goods model, right? Where do we need to be? Where's the demand? Where do we source? How efficient is it? And what's my freight cost versus local, and all those sorts of things. Yeah. So we do a lot of modeling to think about that, but it's still a little ways off.
A little premature. You know what? You raised one thing here. I told you that might have been my last question, but I wouldn't mind you touching on one thing here. You've talked about this industry now reaching out, to find C-suite executives from, you name it, from medical, from food and beverage, from distribution, from big box, all of that. It's easy to look at this industry and think that it's a little bit mom and pop. There's a lot of dispensaries that just have one location, these types of things. You go to Colorado, though, you start to see, these chains that have 30, 35, 40 dispensaries. That obviously happened through consolidation. This industry really is attracting big talent from non-traditional channels to drive this growth, isn't it?
It is. And I think if you just sort of on the surface step back and look at the opportunity, you say, okay, here is a built-in recreational industry worth, pick your number, 20 to 100 billions of dollars globally. And so it already exists. The behavior is there.
Yes.
So all this is a sort of a once in a lifetime deal. It's like internet, 1.0,
right?
Where this is a transformational opportunity for people to get into a space and emerge as legitimate brands in the category, emerge as legitimate retailers in the category, make that a true reality, not just on the recreational side as well as on the CBD side, to build that and really do some good in the world to make people aware of that. So of course that's going to be very appealing to people who have been in very traditional consumer packaged goods, beverage companies, because they're going to get a chance, much like I am, to deploy all of their skills that they've, through a lifetime of training in Fortune 500 blue chip companies over 30 years now I'm drawing on all my experiences globally, entrepreneurial, discipline, processes, marketing, branding, and the ability to deploy it really freely in a wide open landscape.
It's got to be, it's got to be damned exciting, because you're making me excited talking about it.
I mean, you walk into some of these dispensaries, the branding is a glass jar with a white label printed.
Right.
I mean, that is ripe for, really disruption. So we're excited about the opportunity to do that. And I think the companies that bring in that talent and bring in that skill set are going to be the ones that, invest and emerge as the winners long term.
Well, for sure. And that gives investors, institutional or otherwise, a great deal of comfort when they see someone at the helm that they might know from, previous walks of life. So, Todd, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for letting us circle back around from Anaheim and do a proper interview with you. We're super excited about your company. We love your products. We like the collaborations you've got going on. And, man, count on us to spread the word. No joke.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate your followers and listeners and all of your support, and we're excited, and I'm happy to do it anytime.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Yep, bye-bye. Man, I'll tell you what, I get excited thinking about Ignite Cannabis and talking to these executives. Of course, we were able to speak with Dan Bilzerian, earlier in that same week, and Shannon Bard, who's their Chief Operating Officer, and now, of course, Todd Thompson. This is an exciting gang, man. They are running an exciting company that is slowly, one step at a time, taking over this space. And yep, they did launch like a cannon. They are not resting for 1 minute. They're looking at every possible avenue and outlet in this space to put the Ignite Cannabis brand. So I want to thank everybody at Ignite that spoke with us last week, for Matt and the gang at Blaze PR that helped put us all this together for us and got us to some of these events. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate your time, and our listeners have had a terrific time tuning in to Ignite to see what you guys are all about. Thank you all very much. Kush Journals is a copyrighted broadcast of the South American Gold Corporation. We appreciate your likes and shares on social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.